Cats! Welcome to week 2 of National Nutrition Month. I'm Christina Weedman, one of your sports dietitians. We're so proud of those that have hit the ground running by making a high-performance nutrition goal and starting to work on it last week. If you haven't made a goal yet, don't worry. You can go back to last week's video and watch as Katie talks to you about how to make a performance nutrition goal. Let's jump into week 2 and take a second to reflect on how you did with your goal this week. What were your wins? Take a moment to jot these down. Did you increase the number of vegetables that you ate at dinner? Were you able to actually take your iron more times than the weeks before? It's really good to celebrate success, so make sure that you're writing these down because they serve as really good reminders when you're having a hard time sticking to your goal. This week, we're going to tackle what trips us up when we're working on our goals. Is there anything you want to do differently this week? Or are you feeling really overwhelmed by your goal right now that you're thinking about quitting? Heading into week 2, we are going to rumble with our failures, spot our barriers, and bust through them. Let's say your goal was to start eating breakfast last week. You were so enthusiastic about it that you thought you would get to breakfast every morning. And then the week got in the way, sleep took priority, or class was just too early for you to get breakfast in and you felt your goal slipping away. Let's get ready to rumble. You can see these moments as failures or actually as lessons for how to make this next week even better. Think about this. Failure is your training ground for success. If you never failed before, then you would never know how to do something better. If you're feeling like you tripped up this week, know that you're not alone, and you just have some really good lessons to make this next week even better. Going back to our goal of eating breakfast, here are some common barriers that athletes faced and ways to bust through them. Is sleep taking priority over your breakfast time? Try leaving a quick snack next to your backpack so you can eat it on your walk to class. The first step is just trying to eat something in the morning. Does eating breakfast every morning seem too overwhelming? Start by picking out a few days out of the week that fit into your current schedule so you can practice. Practice makes permanent. Now that you've rumbled with your failures and found the lessons within them, let's look at some common barriers athletes face when setting high-performance nutrition goals and how to bust through them. First, maybe your goal is too general. Last week, Katie talked about making measurable goals. It's important to keep them small and specific so that you know when you're being successful. An example would be, I'm going to eat 2 fist-sized servings of vegetables at dinner 3 times this week. Next is time. When you feel like you don't have the time to make your goals stick, try using an activation trigger so that you can pair habits you already have with the goals you want to make. One example would be putting your vitamin D bottle next to your toothbrush so that every time you brush your teeth in the morning, you remember to take it. Next is resources. Maybe you don't have the food you want to use for meal prep because you haven't been able to grocery shop in weeks. Or do you find yourself getting really hungry in your afternoon class because you keep forgetting to pack snacks from the fuel bar? When you plan things out, you're actually able to have the resources you need to make your goals stick. One example would be, why not set a standing date to go grocery shopping every week? Or set reminders in your phone to pack snacks and to remind you when to eat them. Our last barrier is accountability. Do you ever find that you're the first person you cancel on? What if you had a friend that always canceled on you whenever you made plans? You wouldn't believe them when they set a date with you. That's the same thing when you make promises to yourself and then cancel them. The best way to hold yourself accountable is to find a buddy. Remember that standing date to go grocery shopping? Try going with your roommate. Or you can ask a teammate to go to breakfast with you in the morning during the week. Here's your week 2 to-do list. Remember to write down your wins each week because these serve as great reminders when you're finding it difficult to work on your goal. Rumble with your failure because it teaches you how to do something better next time. And finally, spot your barriers and figure out ways that you can bust them. This week's accountability challenge has to do with busting your barriers. Post a picture on social media of how you are busting your barriers, or you can drop it off at the accountability box at the Walter Fueling Station. Remember that everyone that participates in all 4 accountability challenges this month will win a special prize from Performance Nutrition. This isn't just for athletes. We want all student athletes, staff, and coaches to participate in our National Nutrition Month Challenge. We'll see you next week.